just begin.
Night vision device fully operational, sir.
Excellent. Bring in the other subjects.
Grab my hand!
Is it just again?
I want you to know that you are safe. I'm your friend. Why did you come here? You presented yourself as able-bodied and eager to make improvements. Wicked child! But your behavior... Don't fight the process. I'll learn you! We're all working to unlock your potential.
You can't hide from me.
Your new self. A better self. A productive member of society. Thank you for volunteering for the therapy. We are all going to get better. Together.
Three, two, one, go! Yeah, buddy! Three, two, one, drop!
My name's Francis Bruss. I'm the audio director here at Red Barrels. So my day-to-day job is to figure out special ways to creep people out and to make audio a integral part of the Outlast brand.
Your new self.
From the VO recordings, from music, from sound effects, from integration, pretty much all the facets of audio is what I do. Having a new composer for the game is a huge, huge part of Outlast Trials. That's something that we're so excited about because the whole goal of having Tom as a composer is using his ability to tie everything together into one unit of a game. Tom has an amazing background in video games. I can't list half of the game that he's worked on. He gives master classes to other composers. So for him, he was just incredibly motivated to be part of Outlast Party.
Hi, I'm Tom Salta, and I'm the composer for the original score to Outlast Trials. Working with Red Barrels was really a fun and unique experience for me, and working with Francis was just incredible. What I really like about it's also challenging but fun at the same time, is that I came on a bit earlier than I normally do. On a lot of these kind of big AAA games, whether it was Battlegrounds or Ghost Recon, Halo stuff, I usually come on right at the end. Things happen fast. With Outlast Trials, it's different. It was earlier in the development stage, and it's giving me a chance to see it come to life and maybe contribute ideas that can affect the mechanism of the game itself, which is like, this is amazing, because it's like, I'm like a kid in a candy store. So for the theme of Outlast Trials, we obviously wanted this to be really super special. And me personally, given my love of this game and the music that I'm doing, I wanted it to check off a few things that I really didn't have much precedent for. I wanted something that was just purely scary to listen to. I wanted also something that had some melody to it, something that was memorable but also with a melody, and something that was simple enough that you could just play it on a piano. One of the first things that that came to mind, and I don't know where it came from, was that little phrase, that da ba da ba ba da ba. That was like, wow, okay, that feels right. Finding that simple idea that you immediately know it's Outlast Trials, and it immediately scares you. And then seeing that come to life when we developed the theme and then brought in the full orchestra, I mean, that was like, yes, it's alive.
50% of the experience is audio-driven. It is the immersion factor that will pull the player in, that'll keep the player within the world, and it'll keep that tension. Those build-ups or really releases down to zero, that I think the audio is the main factor in that, and that's how we keep the player stuck in the game, in the world with us. That's going to be the challenge, and I think we're up to it. We're up to it.
Another thing that is so much fun with creating the music for Outlast Trials is it just gives me the opportunity to get some props and try to come up with some textures and sounds that really are terrifying, but based on, 50s technology or toys or things like that. I went on eBay and I found this thing. I mean, an innocent plaything can be very terrifying. My kids get scared when I show this to them. I think they've seen too many horror movies, but what's scary about this? Woo, apparently a lot. Taking those things and using them to create scary sounds, textures, and music. I mean, come on. I'm getting paid for this?
Outlast has this history of creating those very iconic enemies, and I feel like fans are expecting us to deliver those iconic enemies again in a different level. We tried to kind of figure out how the infection is going to work in the characters with all the new mechanics and with all the new abilities that we have, but we don't want to make it like too high in terms of technology, because in the 50s everything was a little bit more limited. My job is basically kind of trying to do a lot of the research of how make something that looks high-tech look like low-tech and give this 50s twist to it. And And it's pretty fun because at the end of the day, I have a lot of possibilities of creating those characters and trying to portray a little bit of their daily basis. My favorite character, it's Gooseberry. I was completely intrigued by her story because she is this TV show host for kids, but like off camera, she has this whole like dark side, and she's supposed to look like motherly looking. She's supposed to have this like motherly feel for kids, but in reality, when you look at it, it's a completely different story. Because it's an Outlast game, it needs to feel off in a way. Like he had this super jolly face that she's pretty, she is perky, but her face needed to be removed. And we had all these like references of prostheses of people that go to war and they lose their face, they have their face burned. And the couple of first sketches, it was already way too off, and this is something that we wanted to avoid. You know, we had something, but it was not there. So the moment I did the third interaction with her was the moment that they were like, all right, we have something there. Gooseberry is a double character. She has major daddy issues, and the puppet is the full representation of her father, which was a horrible person. And from there, we passed it over to the 3D team, where they did an amazing job portraying her in her most beautiful way. Coyle is our second prime asset in the game. He is this police officer with a very distorted notion of law. Whatever you think it's right, he's gonna put his twist on it. He likes to torture his victims with electricity in many different ways. He has this sort of fetish of sexual assaulting people with his baton. Coyle is not only about the mechanic of playing, but also the background and his twisted ways of showing law.
Thank you for volunteering for the therapy.
There's a lot of anxiety on my part because creating a game takes a lot of time, and creating those characters, making them come through and like, you know, shine, it takes a long time because it's a collective effort. Animation, effects, programming, you know, until we actually see the full thing, it might take like 3-4 years, if not more. Because these are very important characters at the end of the day, and you know, it's a lot of work.
My name is JT Petty. I'm the writer of the Outlast video games. Outlast Trials is about you basically, you're somebody who gets picked up off of the street. You're somebody who can be vanished because you're judged as being worthless by society. You know, if you're a drug addict or a mental patient or anybody that the government wouldn't mind vanishing in 1960, you wake up in a facility where you're basically being forced to take part in experiments. A lot of the mystery of the story is about trying to figure out what this experiment is supposed to do to you. I mean, so we wanted to set this one back in 1959 because I think the mystery of the origins of Murkoff have always been something that's just been a really interesting thing to want to explore. I also feel like 1960 is such a prime time politically in terms of secret decisions that really shaped the way the next century is going to go.
The Outlast Trials takes place before any of the other Outlast games, and so we'll be able to explore things that happened before Outlast 1 that maybe you are interested about the backstory of, or seeing some characters, maybe learning about their history before any of the events of the other Outlast games. And it draws a lot of inspiration to experiments that were actually done in Montreal on people, on their brains, on their behaviors. It's lore to us, but it's real history to real people. It's been a huge inspiration, and it's a story that hasn't ever really been told in video games, to my knowledge, so we're really excited about it.
Hi, my name is Carl Chignara. I'm a psychiatrist. This is the Allen Memorial Institute. It's a great training center, but it's also where Dr. Cameron's experiments occurred, linked with MKUltra. MKUltra was a large secret operation by the CIA that ran from 1953 to 1973. That was in the early days of the CIA. Their basic aim was to find ways to modify behaviors. The director of the hospital, this famous psychiatrist, Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron, was experimenting on patients. He claimed he could remove certain unhealthy patterns in the mind of patients and replace it with healthier patterns. So that intrigued the CIA. They first funded all kind of research that was going on. So things like mind-altering drugs, things like how to implant a device in the brain and remotely control somebody. So there was research going on, but they only went so far. What they did that was much more unethical, they became rather obsessed with LSD, and they did all kinds of weird experiments with it. They hired prostitutes to slip LSD to clients unknowingly, and then they would observe whatever occurred. They even would give LSD to CIA employees without their knowledge, just to observe what it does. So that's really dangerous. I mean, today it absolutely sounds like it's a conspiracy theory, but it actually happened. You can imagine that having things like sleeper agents, controlled assassins, would be kind of the perfect spies. A sleeper agent, in theory, is an agent spy that doesn't know that he's a spy, that he can be activated from a distance. So in my opinion, if the CIA, or if anybody really could crack mind control, they would have the most devastating weapon in human history, more than nuclear weapons.
Get back! What fans can expect from Trials is more suffering, I guess.
My name is Stefan Petrina, and at Red Barrels, I'm sort of the principal animator, the animation director. I'm the animator that has been here since pretty much almost the beginning. Generally speaking, I'm here to kind of ensure the animation quality of the game. The designers have a game in mind with characters and rules, and I'm there to kind of help communicate those through character animation. I didn't get trained in how to become a director in motion capture. It was really, when we decided we wanted to go forward with it, we had the option to, maybe do we want to hire an outside director? No, we can do it ourselves. That's kind of what we do here at Red Barrels. We can do it ourselves. We were 10 guys in one room building Outlast 1. How much more difficult could it be to go to a mocap stage and figure it out how to do it and do it right?
Shot 6, take 1. Roll in.
I'm back, what's the word?
I tried to tell you, I tried to warn you, but you're not listening. This is your last chance.
This setup is for our character, Mr. Noakes, who's a lobby denizen. He's a character that you go and buy upgrades from. And he has a story to tell along the way. So today what we're going to be doing is capturing Tyrone, our actor, playing Noakes in Noakes' environment. For a shot like today, it's about a lot of body motion, a lot of attitude, a lot of micro movement that we're not always aware of when we're talking to people in conversation, but a lot of stuff that just gets captured automatically with motion capture, so that when we feed that into our character in game, it has much more of an organic appearance because it's moving with all the little nuances that people move with. And then we have a lot of the big sort of identifiable actions, the gestures that go along with conversation. Well, maybe your dog wants to play fetch. Yeah.
Fetch, go. Go get it.
Buddy! We don't have anything like we've done in the past because now we're a new type of game with a whole new bunch of variables. We're exploring new tricks. Can we do the types of scares that we've done in the past, but find a new way to express them in our new game. What would I say to fans waiting for the next game? Be ready and be afraid.